Hey guys, hey, what's up? It's Faith. I'm drinking coffee. I thought I would come on here and answer some of these questions, say hello. I know I've been kind of MIA on the internet, but for those of you guys that have been kind of following, I don't know what's been happening. My friend was murdered 5 years ago, and I've been going through the trial, and he was convicted of first-degree murder. So thank you for all your prayers. It's been such a hard, really, really hard, difficult thing, but I feel like I'm starting to kind of feel normal again after all of that. So anyway, thank you guys for your support and everything. Let me look at some of these questions. Oh, sorry, my speaker's like beeping. I see a couple of you watching. Let me know if you can hear me. I have my phone like kind of propped up weird because I can't find my tripod. Let's see. We're just really going pro today, you guys. We're really just doing it. Okay. The best places to invest money as a new blogger. This is such a good question. So here's what I'll say about investing money. So if you're going to grow a business, you have to be able to either invest money or invest time, right? And this is where I get really frustrated a lot of times with people that want to start blogs is a lot of people either complain that they didn't know how much money it would cost, that it's so expensive to start and there's so many expenses, or they complain that it's taking so long and it takes so much time. But it's like, that's what it takes to grow a business. It takes investing time and investing money. So you have to be willing to invest both of those things, I think, to find success. You can get away with kind of investing a small amount of money, but to be honest with you, my goals with my blog and my business have always been very big, right? They're like, you guys that know me know that I don't play small, right? I'm here to do a lot and change a lot of lives and build a big business and have a big impact. And so my vision has always been pretty massive for what I want to accomplish and what I want to build. And so I have always put everything on the table. And like even now, I'm making more money than I've ever made doing anything like in my life right now, but I invest everything back into this business. I live very frugally and I try not to spend money on things I don't need. And I take all of the money that I have and I invest back into my business. And I think when you're starting out, let's see, what should you buy when you're starting out? If you were going to invest in anything, I really think it is doing courses or having a coach. One of those two things, because you need education. I don't recommend people hire an assistant right away, because if you don't have the skills, if you don't understand marketing, if you don't understand how to make money online, you're not going to be able to supervise an assistant or supervise staff to help you build the business, because you don't know how to make the pieces work, right? So I think it's really important, even if you know, like you want to hire out Pinterest, you still need to understand like how that platform works and how it's going to support your business. You still need to know what that person should be doing and best practices. Like you're the boss, you're the supervisor, right? So you can hire things out, but in my mind, like you're still responsible more or less for those kind of positions, right? You need to know kind of how things work, or at least how they're going to support your business. So when I first started, I spent a lot of money on courses. I spent a lot of money on coaching. I have a business coach. I've always had a business coach. Those are probably like my two biggest recommendations, I guess, for blogging, for starting out. Like I think you need the education. There's a lot to learn, and I still invest a lot of money in courses and coaching, because there's a lot of skills that I need that I don't have to perform at the level I want and to grow the business to where I want it to go. So I pay people to help me. I do. I pay people to help me. And, you know, I feel like that's kind of an unpopular answer. Everyone wants to do it for free, but I am so certain in my success, I know I'll get that money back, right? And I talk to you guys about this a lot, like about working from a place of certainty. There was just a podcast that went up about a whole rant I did on this on the podcast 2 weeks ago. So I'm not going to go into that, but if you need the certainty pep talk, if you're feeling scared and uncertain, that whole place of like, I don't know if it's going to work and I don't know if it's going to happen, and it happened for her, but I don't know if it'll happen for me. That whole thing, right? Uncertainty. I always run my business from a place of certainty. So if I know that I'm here to have a massive impact, my business is going to be massively successful, I'm not scared to invest all my money. I don't have any fear around it because I know I'll get it back. And it has paid out for me, like, so far. Everything that I've invested, I've always gotten back. And so, I mean, and it's slow at first. I think especially in the beginning, right? You're investing all this money and investing all this time and investing all this money and investing all this time, and you're not seeing it come back right away. But that is the name of the game, you guys. That's kind of like the rite of the passage, right? For this kind of work, because you're building a platform and you're building something, you're building an online business based on building this platform. So you have to get people to follow you. You have to have a strong message. You have to have like all your kind of pieces in play. And then you have to find people and find your tribe and get your stuff circulating around. And it takes time. And there's a period of time when you first start where you're investing time and you're investing money and you're not seeing the growth as quickly, right? Now that I kind of have a chunk of people or whatever, not that my blog is massive, but I have a chunk of people following me. When I take a course, I can usually learn something in that course and make the money back, especially if it's like $500 or something. Like investing, $500 in my business used to seem like such a big number, and now it's just not, because I'm like, well, I know I can make $500 if I want, like, to take this course, right? And so it kind of changes like as you progress, but in the beginning especially, you just have to decide to believe that it's going to pay out for you, and you have to be able to work through that part of spending money and investing time and not seeing the results right away, right? Patience. This is a patience game. It's like you have to be able to get through that beginning part where not a lot is happening. So I hope that's helpful. I have recommendations. I've taken almost every course on the internet at this point, because I've taken a lot of courses, right? I've worked with a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people in the self-help world, and a lot of people in the blogging world, a lot of people in the marketing world. I've worked with everyone. And so the courses that I recommend are on my website. If you go to faithmariah.com, there's a link that says favorites. That page has free resources on it too. It has all the plugins I use on my blog. It has just questions people ask me all the time, like what email server like I use, or whatever, like literally everything I use for my blog, my theme, my plugins, the courses I recommend, all of that stuff is on that page. So if you're ever curious, those are the courses I recommend. And I'll just say, I've taken a lot of courses and I'm an affiliate for very few. So I really stand behind the courses that I recommend. I'm not someone that's just going to sell you guys like, I don't know, tons of courses. That's just not my vibe or what I'm doing. Oh, hey guys. Hey. Oh, good. You can hear me. How do you find a compatible business coach? It's hard, but this is what I'll say about finding like a coach is find someone that has the business that you want, right? So you need to do not hire anyone that doesn't have the business that you want to run. So for my business, my vision for my business has always been selling low-end courses, low-end products, 10, 20, 30 bucks, $40, maybe $50. I feel like $50 is kind of my high end of what I usually sell. Every once in a while I'll put out like something really big and maybe it'll be a little higher than that, but definitely under $100. So my vision for my business is selling low-end products, but to make the income I want, I have to have a volume-based business, right? I have to sell a lot of $20 things. That's my business that I want to run. That's how I want my business to look. And so since I know that, I'm not going to hire a business coach that makes her most of her income off of $10,000 coaching packages. I'm going to hire a business coach that has a similar business model to me. So for right now, for example, I'm working with Jennifer Roskamp. I'm taking her like advanced like mastermind thing that she's doing. And so I'm in like a group with her and a few other women, and we're about the same kind of level. And so that's worked really well for me. But she has a similar business model, right? So some of the business coaches I've hired that didn't work out for me, there's a lot of people right now that sell really high-end coaching packages, right? They sell $5,000 coaching packages, $10,000 coaching packages, whatever. And that's great if you can do that. And I'm not knocking anyone that does that. But those people are really good at selling $5,000 packages. If you want to do that, you should hire someone that's really good at selling $5,000 coaching packages, right? But that's not what I want to do, right? I don't want to be a coach. I have like zero desire at this point. I'm not really taking any more one-on-one people at this point. It's too much of a suck on my time and my energy, and it just doesn't like serve me well. So that's not what I want to do. But figure out what you want your business to look like. What do you want your dream business to look like? And then kind of work your way backwards and start kind of looking around and see who is running a business in a way that's similar to what you want to run, and reach out to them and ask them to coach you and help you. I've hired people that don't even advertise coaching, right, to help me. Like Jennifer Roskamp has some courses, but she doesn't really advertise herself as a business coach. But if she will give me her time, I will pay her money, right? Because she runs a business similar to what I want to do, but she's like a little bit ahead of me. Does that make sense? So try to find someone that is running a business that looks like the business that you want to build, but is a little bit ahead of you. Does that make sense? And then ask around too, like ask around in the Facebook groups, who's working with who, all that different stuff. I really like Allison Reeves. She's a business coach. You guys know I'm working with her. I'm going to like co-coach one of her masterminds that she's doing. You can look into that. She's really good at like helping kind of new bloggers learn how to monetize. That's kind of her whole thing. And she actually did a training in the group for free. So if you guys want to kind of see what she's about and get a feel for her and see if you like her, go and watch the training. And then that's the other thing too, before you hire someone, like get to know them, like listen to them on podcasts, watch them on video. Like, is this someone you want to learn from, right? Like, do you really vibe with them? Like really get to know them, watch some of their free trainings. Usually before you hire anyone, like, you know, take a cheap training or a low end training from them, or find a free training that they have, take their free stuff. And really ask yourself, like, is this the person I want to work with, right? And usually when it's the right person, you'll know. You'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, like, take my money. I need to work with you, like, yesterday. Like, I need you to help me. You know, that kind of feeling. You want to have that kind of feeling when you hire a business coach where you're like, yes, let's do it. I know that you're the right person to help me. Like, you know, when I find the right person, it's almost like I just can't give them my money fast enough. I'm like, take my money, like, let's do it. I'm ready. And so that's kind of how I find my business people. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Okay, good. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through this thread. I put up, let's see. Oh, I like this question. Arlen says, I think I'm finally getting somewhere, but now I'm worried it's all a mirage. How to not second guess when you start seeing success. So business has been really interesting, you guys. So for me, in business, it's kind of like you work through the fear, and then the fear will come up in a different way, and then you'll kind of work through it, and then it comes up again in a different way, and then you work through it again and it works up, you know. So I'm guessing, Arlen, you probably have some like kind of deeper stuff around maybe like an imposter syndrome kind of stuff, or maybe, but I'm worried it's all a mirage, or maybe like feeling undeserving of success, right? A lot of times when we don't believe we deserve to have a big platform, if you think like, if you don't feel like you deserve to have a big platform and be in front of a lot of people, if you're not 100% confident, like, I have something to say, I know I can help people, I'm going to be in front of a lot of people, I need to be in front of a lot of people, I deserve to be in front of a lot of people, you'll have a lot of this doubt start to creep in that's like, do I deserve to be in front of a lot of people? Like, is my message really that good? Like, am I really that good? Do I deserve it? Do I deserve success? Do I deserve this platform? Do I deserve the money? Like, that kind of stuff. And it will come up for you. Oh, this stuff still comes up for me all the time, right? And it's just a matter of like, you have to figure out a process to be able to work through this stuff. And in my mental health podcast, I talk about this a lot, but I call them troll thoughts. And your troll thoughts are those thoughts that come into your brain that are like, maybe everything you write is stupid, or maybe your business is stupid, or maybe you're not good enough, or like you're never going to be good enough, or you're never going to be, whatever it is, right? We all kind of have these different little troll thoughts. Tony Robbins says your favorite flavor of suffering, right? Your like kind of brand of troll thought that comes into your brain. You need to identify what those are. And then when you hear them, you can kind of be like, oh, I know what this is. This isn't the truth, right? Because your brain will try and tell you, your brain, if you don't question it, will just internalize all those troll thoughts as the truth. But if you can identify it, then when that sneaks into your brain, you can be like, oh, I know what this is. Like, this isn't the truth. That's just that stupid troll thought, right? That's my favorite flavor of suffering. That's the troll that always comes up, right? When I'm stressed, I have certain troll thoughts that come up. Like every time, you know, I invest a new amount of money in my business, every time I do something really scary and uncomfortable, right? I will have the same kind of narratives like play out, right? A lot of mine are like around like, like, who do you think you are? And you don't even know what you're doing. And why would anyone even listen to you? Like that kind of stuff. Like that's just the stuff that comes up for me. And we all kind of have our different narratives that play out. But just sit down and ask yourself, like, what are the narratives that are coming up for me, and what are they really about? And then you need to show your brain why that's not the truth, right? So if you're not actively in control of your brain will just start telling you these crazy stories, and then it will internalize it as the truth. And you have to show your brain, like, no, actually, that's not the truth. Actually, lots of people find success. Lots of people build sustainable businesses. Like, is it actually true that your success is going to go away? Is it actually true that you need to be afraid of losing your success? Is it actually true? And is that fear serving you? And you need to push back on the narrative that your brain is telling you and say, no, actually, that's not my truth, right? I always say, like, you don't get to decide what happens to you. You get to decide what it means, right? You decide your truth. You decide what's true for you. Is it true for you that when you find success, you're going to lose it? Is that your truth? Like, decide, no, that's not my truth. My truth is, the more success I have, the more success comes to me, the easier success comes to me. The more successful I am, the more people I help. The more people I help, the more money I make. The more money I make, the faster my business grows, right? Start telling yourself different stories about success. What's an empowering story you can tell yourself about success, right? My business grows quickly and easily, right? That's like some of my affirmations. Like I'll go into like affirmations a lot with a lot of this stuff. Like, I'll be like, my business grows quickly and easily. It's so easy for me to get in front of a lot of people. It's so easy for me, to build a massive email list or whatever it is, right? I'll just kind of go into affirmations and affirm myself because I'm picking a new truth. Because the truth that just naturally comes into my brain is garbage. It's like, I'm like naturally not a positive person. I'm a very, very negative person. And so the truth that my brain naturally will pick is like, you'll never succeed. Who do you think you are? You're never going to have success. Why do you think you can do this? Why do you think you deserve this? Like, all this stuff. And I have to pick a new truth. And I do that I do that a lot with affirmations, but just decide, like, no, like, I reject this. Like, you got to kind of push back on your brain and be like, no, that's not my truth. This is my truth, right? And then the other thing I always say about this is, like, find evidence. Like, your brain likes facts. So find examples of people that have had long, sustainable success, that have just become more and more successful over time, and show your brain, like, look, I know it's not true that when I find success, everything will fall away, because this person's done it and this person's done it. And you show your brain those examples. And I always say you have to connect the dots for your brain. I know that's not true because this, and this. Does that make sense? Your brain likes facts, right? So your brain, I always say your brain knows when you're BSing, right? So if you're like, I believe my success is inevitable, but you don't really believe that. You're just trying to tell your brain that, or trying to convince your brain that. It'll be like, yeah, like it knows when you're lying, right? It's not going to do you any good. But if you can find examples of women that are just killing it, that are crushing it, that just keep growing and growing and growing, show your brain those examples and be like, I know I don't need to be afraid of losing everything, because look at all these people that are successful. Look at all these women that are doing what I want to do. Look at all these people, and show your brain actual physical examples. Does that make sense? So I hope that's a little bit helpful, Arlen. Arlen, you're doing a great job and you're making so much progress. And look at, especially, I know Arlen just hit like 1,000 email subscribers. Like, look at the examples of your own success. Like, look at, like, it's so easy for us to always be focused on the future. And I am so guilty of this, because you guys know I'm like very goal driven and very like future outcome driven. And I love that about me, but there's a lot of times where that doesn't serve me, because I forget to stand in how far I've come. I'm always trying to hit the next income level. I'm always trying to hit the next, email milestone, the next milestone, the next thing. But Arlen, stand in how far you've come, right? Think about the you, like when you started, that couldn't even have imagined or dreamed of having 1,000 subscribers, and now you did it, right? And use that as an example. Be like, I know that my success will only grow exponentially because it has, right? And that's just the truth, right? And when you can show your brain those kind of facts, it's a lot easier for it to start to believe your new truth. Does that make sense? So you find facts that support your new truth, and then you just keep kind of bombarding your brain with it until you can kind of energetically and mentally get behind the truth that you are choosing. But you've got to remember and like use that as an example. Look at how far you've come. I know that I will grow. I know I will figure it out. I know I can be successful because look how far I've already gotten. And I know I'm only going to get further. I know I'm only going to go further, faster and farther and easier and all that stuff. So, okay, that's my rant about that. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to get off of here because I got to go write. Let's see. Amy. Oh, this was a good question. Can you talk about how to handle seasons in life when time for blogging is non-existent? I sell on Amazon and 100% of my time right now is focused on getting ready for Christmas. Do I give myself permission to take a break from creating content, or do I push even harder to fit it in? For context, I have 4 kids who play sports, so my nights and weekends are packed. I already get up super early. Thanks. Okay, Amy, there's a few things I'm going to say about this, but I think the biggest thing for you guys, because this question comes up all the time, right, with people about how hard do I work? I'm already tired. Do I push harder? Do I back off? And it's like, you are the only one that can answer that. You are the expert in your own life, and it's safe for you to trust yourself and look at this and decide what is the best thing for you, what is the best thing for your family, and what is the best way to go forward, right? Like, I just can't answer this from this question. I just can't. And the truth is, like, no one is going to know. And I always say this about business, and I say this about business coaches too. And you guys know I have business coaches. I have therapists. I have a whole team of people that I pay to support me at this point, right? But no one knows my business the way I do. No one. I don't care how experienced they are. I don't care. And it's not that I don't take their advice. I definitely take their advice. I pay them a lot of money to advise me. But at the end of the day, if someone tells me something that I know is not right for my business, it is safe for me to trust myself because no one knows my business the way I do. And you have to kind of look at your life like that. No one is going to know your life, what you're here to do, the way you do, right? No one knows. Is this a season of life where you just need to be really present for your kids and be supporting them and doing the sports stuff and growing the blog slowly on the side? Or is this a season where it's like, I have to make this happen. Like, I need the money. My family needs the freedom. I need to be able to stay home with them. And this is a season where I just have to work until I want to die, right? And I just have to put my head down and work and make this happen for my family. Or is this a season where it's like, I just kind of do this a little bit on the side and I grow it sometimes during different seasons of life. And I'm really present with my kids and really supporting them, and working on my other job and working on my other stuff. I have no idea, right? I can't answer that. It's like, but it's safe for you to trust yourself. And I think with women, like a lot of women I work with, and I've struggled with this, I see this all the time from women. It's really hard, I think, for us to feel empowered enough to trust our judgment and to make decisions about our life. This is your life. It's not about you. It's not about your kids or your family. It's like, this is about you. What do you want your life to look like? And I can't answer that. There's no there's no right or wrong answer. There's only what's right for you. And no one's going to know what's right for you the way you do. Does that make sense? So there's times, like, absolutely, where it's like, get up at 4 a.m. and work on your blog. Work 80 hours a week. There's times where that's the answer, right? That was the answer for me. Like, when I quit my job, and people are like, how did you quit your job in 10 months? Well, I worked almost 90 hours a week for almost an entire year. I worked 40 to 50 hours at my regular job, and I worked every waking moment and all day on the weekends, 12-hour, 14-hour days on Saturday, 12-hour, 14-hour days on Sunday. And it was hard, but I knew that was what I needed to do. I knew I needed to be my own boss. I knew I wanted the business. I knew it was time to double down and just push really hard and just go for it, right? I knew I just had to go all out because I knew if I didn't, I knew I would always wonder, right? And I didn't want to live with that kind of regret. And so I just went for it, right? But that's not always the answer for everyone. And other seasons of life, it's like, sometimes it's just be a mom, take your kids to sports, I don't know. I don't know that it just depends on so many different factors. But really, like, what I would empower you to do is just get in your heart and your soul and ask yourself and know that it's safe for you to trust yourself. It's safe for you to trust that you're guided, right? You guys know I'm really spiritual, so I'm going to use this kind of language, but if you don't believe in this, that's totally fine. I like literally don't care like what you believe in or don't believe in. But I'm always just like, it's safe for me to be guided. I know I'm divinely guided and divinely supported. And so it's safe for me to trust myself. It's safe for me to make decisions because I'm divinely guided. So if I know I'm divinely guided and I know I'm divinely supported, why am I going to be following advice from a business coach or following advice from someone else when I have divine guidance inside of me? Right? Look inside yourself and ask yourself, like, what is the next step for me? What's the right thing for me to do? You know, and you have to get really honest with yourself, right? Sometimes the things that we need to do for our life are not always the things that we want to do, right? I'm going through this with health and fitness right now. I do not want to work out. I do not want to eat healthy. I just don't want to. I'm totally out of my routine from all of this stuff that's going on in my life, and I'm just totally out of it. But I know for me to have the life that I want, for me to be the person that I want to be, for me to be the businesswoman I want to be, for me to be the person that I want to be in this life, I've got to make my health and fitness a priority. I have to be healthy and strong and have a lot of energy to do the things that I want. And so I'm making that a priority, even though it's not what I want to do. Does that make sense? So it's not about getting in your heart and being like, what do I feel like doing? A lot of times the things that we need to do for our life, we don't feel like doing. Like I never feel like working out ever. Like there's never a day where I'm like, you know what I really want to do? Work out, right? And this is like a weird example, but it's the same in business, right? It's the same in life. It's like a lot of times the things that we need to do to make our dreams happen, the things that you need to do to have the life that you really want, that your soul's really craving, the things that's really the next step for you. A lot of times you have to do things that you don't really necessarily feel like doing, right? So it's not about just doing things that are fun and you feel like doing all the time, but it's like really about getting in your soul and being like, what is my life supposed to look like? What do you want your life to look like? You know what I mean? And it's like, is it time for you to just like double down and just push really hard on this blog? Is it time for you to take a break and just shelf it for now and focus on something else? Like, I don't know. Like that all is up to you. Does that make sense? So I don't know if that's helpful at all. Oh, Amy, you're on here. Okay. Let me know if that's helpful. I don't know. But you know, it's just, it's safe. Like what I really want to say to you is just that it's safe for you to trust yourself. It's safe for you to trust yourself. It's safe for you to believe you're not going to screw it up. It's safe for you to believe everything is going to work out for you. It's safe for you to believe everything is working out for your highest good, right? So it's safe for you to get really quiet and really ask yourself and really have like a really honest conversation with yourself about what does this season of my life supposed to look like? What is the best thing for me to do, you know, for myself right now? Like, what is this season supposed to look like, you know? And sometimes, I mean, like I said, it might be just taking your kids to sports and hanging out with your kids and like being a mom. Like that might be the season of life that you're in. Or you might be like, you know what? Like, I've got to make this business happen. I've got to become a blogger. I've got to make this website profitable. I just know it's what I'm supposed to do. I just know that I'm called to do it and I've just got to go all in. Like, you know, I don't know. There's no right or wrong. It's just what's right for you. And so you have to be able to get really, really honest with yourself. And then you have to be willing to really commit to what the answer is. And it's not always easy, right? Most of the time it's not easy. So I have a lot of sympathy for you. But it's also like, you know, you guys, like I preach a lot about like working really hard and not quitting, but sometimes you have to take breaks like you just do, right? I went through this just this last week with everything going on with my friend's like murder trial and all this stuff that's been going on in my personal life. Is like, I just had to accept that the business is not going to go forward as quickly as it usually does. And content is not going to go out as often as it usually does. And it just is what it is, right? It's like, I just had to like accept that's the season of life that I'm in. I'm not going to be at peak productivity right now. I'm just not. And like, that's fine. Like, I don't have any fear around that, right? So don't tell yourself ridiculous stories, right? Don't tell yourself like, it's so easy when you're not at peak productivity, when you're kind of backing off to take care of yourself, to start telling yourself stories like, you know, if I don't if I'm not working all the time and working really hard, I'll never find success and I'll never be able to do it. And I'm going to fail and my blog is going to fail, and my business is going to fail and I'll never do it and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not true, right? Like, says who? Says what? Like, you know, it's like sometimes we have to take breaks, and you don't know. Like, ultimately, if you take a break, that could be the thing that you need to move you forward the quickest, right? If I sat here and doubled down and tried to make myself make as much content as I usually make and be productive, and I produced a bunch of content that I'm not proud of, that I'm not aligned with, that's not as strong as what I know I can make, and I put that out there, like, is that really going to help my business? Like, you know, no, there's times where it's like, I just have to rest and recharge and trust that even though I'm slowing down, my content will be stronger and my business will move forward faster. I'm not going to tell myself like any stories about taking time off, and that means that I'm not good or my business isn't good or I'm going to fail or whatever, right? So don't make it mean something it doesn't mean. If you take this season off and you decide to focus on the Amazon stuff and focus on Christmas and focus on your kids and be present for the holiday, don't tell yourself crazy stories about like, I'll never be successful and my business is going to fail, and don't compare yourself to other people. So-and-so is doing so much and she's working on her blog so often and she has 20 kids and she's doing it. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Just like stay in your lane, right? This is about like get in your heart and your soul, ask yourself what's right for you, and then just stay in your lane, right? And trust the process and trust yourself, right? That's what I keep coming back to, is it's safe for you to trust yourself. If you decide I need to take time off in this season of life, it's safe for you to trust that that is the right thing for you to do. Right? No one knows your business, your life, your kids, your family the way you do. No one. I don't care if they're a therapist. I don't care if they have $1 million business. I don't care. You're the expert, Amy. Amy is the expert in Amy's life. And it's safe for you to ask yourself, what is the best thing for you to do? Does that make sense? And so I just want to empower you that for all of you, like, it's safe for you to make business decisions about your business. Like, even though you've never had a business, because to me, these are like, to me, my business isn't just a business, it's a spiritual calling, right? I'm like called to do this work. I'm called to help a lot of people. I'm called to get in front of a lot of people. And so to me, it's like, if this is my calling and my spiritual work, I have to be able to trust myself and make decisions based on my intuition and not necessarily on what looks logical to a business coach or what makes a lot of sense to other people, you know. And it's scary, but the more I'm able to do that, the more I'm able to lean into my intuition and really ask myself, like, what does my business need? What do I need? What is the next step for me? The more I'm able to just kind of really connect into my heart and my soul and my purpose and my mission, right? What is the next step for me? That's like kind of, I pray on that a lot. Like, I'll just kind of walk outside and I'll just be like, you know, what is the next step for me? Like, what would you have me do? Like, what is the best thing for me to do? What's the best thing for my life and my business? What is the next step for me? And then when you get the answer, you have to take action, right? And it's not always the answer you think it's going to be. It's just not. Like, I don't know. But the more I'm able to do that, the more success I find in business. The more success I find in life, the better my life gets, like, faster and faster, right? I get better people in my life. I date better people. I make more money in my business. I help more people. I make better content. Everything around me starts to line up when I get really honest and I listen to my heart and my soul, and I'm willing, first of all, to ask for guidance. I'm willing to be guided. But second of all, take action on the guidance that you receive. Because a lot of us, I think, receive guidance and then you just kind of go, no, like, that's not the answer I want. Like, no. And you kind of like ignore it or block it out and you keep doing what you're doing and you just kind of stuff those kind of nudges you have down. But when you're really willing to get quiet and you're really willing to ask, you know, what is the next step for me, and then take action on it, divine things start to happen. Like, I don't care if you believe in God or not, like, ask your higher self, right? When you ask your higher self and you know what's true for you and your heart and your soul, things start to line up. Divine things start to happen. Life starts to get really, really magical, really, really fast. When you're willing to get really honest with yourself, when you're really willing to get really quiet and really ask yourself, like, what is the right thing, like, for me? What is the next step for me? What is my heart and my soul craving? What am I being led to do? When you are willing to ask those kind of questions and then be really honest about what the answers really are, and then take action on them, you'll just always be supported, right? That just feels so clear to me. Like, as a spiritual person, it's like you'll always be supported. Like, it will always work out for your highest good, and you'll always be on the right path. And when you do that, it's like life gets exponentially better, like so much faster, and it's so much easier, and you don't feel like you're in that struggle. You know, for so long I lived my life in this area of just fighting so hard for everything and struggling and working, and I still work hard, but I don't feel like that. I don't ever feel like I'm working and holding on and pushing and all that stuff. It's like I spend a lot of hours in my business because I love my business, but you know, I don't ever feel like, oh my gosh, like, it's not out of fear, right? It's all out of flow and guidance, like divine guidance. Like, I do the things I'm guided to do. Does that make sense? So that's not traditional business advice, but that's how I run my business. And I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to come on here and BS you. I'm just not. Like, it doesn't serve me at all, and I don't think it serves you. I'm just here to share the things that work for me. And that's how I run my business. So I'm being really honest about it. Like, that's how I run my business. And I believe that's how I found success fast. People ask me all the time. They're like, you know, how did you get your business to be profitable in 10 months? And, you know, I can tell you guys what I did. I tell you guys what I did all the time. It's not a secret, but it's like, really what I did was I got in my heart and my soul and I asked myself, like, what is the next step for me, right? And I was willing to be guided, and I did a lot of things that were scary and uncomfortable. And I was just really willing to be led. Like, that's what I did, you know, and that to me is like, that's really, really unpopular. I feel like blogging advice or like business advice. But man, I'll tell you guys, like, 10 out of 10 times, you know, if anytime I've had a business coach that's told me to do something and I followed the advice, even though I knew it was wrong, but I trusted them more than I trusted myself, it has always bit me in the butt. It's always bit me in the butt. I know what's best for my business. You know what's best for your business, right? You know what's best for your life. So I hope that's at least somewhat helpful, or gives you like at least a place to kind of start kind of thinking about this stuff from. I'm going to get off of here because I'm like losing my voice. I've been like yelling at you guys the last like 30 minutes. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll go through the rest of these questions. So if I didn't answer your question and it's in this thread, I'm going to go through and answer some more, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I don't know. I'll try and hop on live like as I have time. You guys that are new here, like, I don't really pick times for my live. I just come on here whenever I have a few minutes. I'll come on here and answer questions, but I'm always here to support you guys. I'm super happy all of you are here. I really want like so badly for all of you to be successful, and I just want to support you in any way that I can. So if you need help, just let me know. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.